Our next guest on the pod is running for the Bill Belichick Foundation. He's going to do his job in this year's Boston Marathon. We are wicked excited to talk to George Vaz-Vatikas. I hope I got that right, George. How are you? Erica say no, but let's go. How are you, George? I'm so excited to have you on the pod.
Pumped to be here. Thanks for having me on the pod, Eric and Erica.
It's our pleasure. We are so excited to get to talk to these runners who are doing the Boston Marathon. I'm only a little bit jealous. Okay, a lot jealous, but we think you guys are doing some awesome work raising money for these incredible charities. So let's jump right in. Let's learn a little bit about you. Who are you? Where are you from? And tell us how you got to get on the charity team for the Bill Belichick Foundation.
Sure. My name's George Vaz-Vatikas, and I am now a full-time year-round resident of the island of Nantucket. So
No way.
I'm running 26 miles out to sea. I've been out on the island back and forth for about 12 plus years, but full-time for close to 2 years. So that's where I'm logging most of my training runs these days.
How's the weather out there at this time? I mean, it can't be great.
It can get a little cold out there, and thankfully we've got a great running group and community, the Monument Run Group out here on Nantucket. They plan some great routes weekly, and we try to dodge the wind when we can, but it's never a guarantee out there.
How big is the island? Like, if you're doing a long run, are you covering the same tracks quite a bit? Or are you able to, do a big loop, long run, and not like constantly feel like you're just going in circles?
No, there's definitely some variety out there. We can mix it up on some long bike path routes, conservation trails. So we keep it interesting. But no, it would be a little if we're just running loops around it, you might go a little crazy. But we've got some good long runs out there.
That's awesome that you mentioned that you're running out there with what did you say, the Monument Run Club?
Yep, Monument Run Group.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about them.
So I joined up. So if you asked me if I was going to be on a running podcast 2 years ago, I'd say you're crazy. So this
Welcome.
this year's Boston is going to mark my 2 year running anniversary.
Okay.
So I was reflecting on it last year. I ran for the Belichick Foundation, first Boston, and it was literally 365 days after my first run. And I was just going through the calendar, going through my notes, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that I went from day one. I just went out for a kind of a jog on the Cape. I ran like 3+ miles, and I was absolutely gassed. And then 365 days later, taken to the starting line of the Boston Marathon, it's been a whirlwind for sure, but it's really changed my life.
What was it that got you out the door for that first 3 mile run?
So I was on a bit of a health and wellness kick and a journey. I had lost a significant amount of weight, lost about 85 pounds, and it was all diet oriented. I wouldn't suggest this diet for anyone. It was about 400 calories a day, absolute insanity. And I reached the goal, but I said, you know what, I want to start living life again, and I want to eat and not be this maniacal calorie counting guy eating cans of tuna every day. So I said, let me pick up an activity. Let's running seems like doable, given my skills or lack thereof. So grab some old Adidas shoes that I had from my college days at Bryant, these ugly blue shoes, threw them on, and went out for that 3 mile run on the Cape. And I said, that was tough, but, let's do it again. And did that for all of April and May. Then got back to Nantucket and joined up with the Monument Run Group sometime like around June. And the rest is kind of history. Became instantly hooked.
How was their reception then? You came back to Nantucket. You found this run group. You've only been running for 2 months. Like I remember having this intimidation feeling when I started cycling a lot, and there were cycling groups. I'm like, I don't know if I fit in yet. Like I want to get a year under my belt and get quicker and learn the etiquette. How was their reception to you being a newbie runner coming back to the vineyard and joining their run group?
Yeah, well, definitely big time intimidation. And I heard about the group actually a year prior. So, had I had the courage to just show up, I could have started running when I started dieting, but I was just too, I joined the Facebook group. So there's a guy on Nantucket. He said, there's this group. We run Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We're the Monument Group. Follow us on Facebook. So I joined the Facebook group, but I just watched for a year, and I kept seeing him post the runs, and I'm like, all these people look so serious. Like I can't hang with them. So it took me literally just a year, and then I said, you know what, I got to do it. So another buddy of mine said Sunday is the long run day. Meet us at 7. Just be there. Just show up. And I did, and super welcoming community. And I'll never forget that first run. It was 10 miles. So it was a long kind of Sunday morning, but just toughed it out with the group. All smiles. Friendly faces. Took forever to learn everyone's names, but just kept coming back. Week after week.
So your your running journey, you went from 0 to 60. You went from 1 year running the Boston Marathon. I believe you mentioned that you ran the first one for the Bill Belichick Foundation as well, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, definitely went full send on
Mm-hmm.
the running career.
So what made you want to go back for a second marathon? Is this only your second marathon, or have you done anything else in between? And what made you choose to come back for the Bill Belichick Foundation?
Well, and actually what I want to know is what
Mhm.
made you think like I want to do the Boston Marathon the first time, and then how do you find Bill Belichick as well?
Yeah, so great question. So this will be my second Boston and second marathon ever, both with the Bill Belichick Foundation. I think last year I signed up for the Nantucket Half Marathon, so that was in October, and I was starting to train a little bit for that. Kind of little bit of a plan. Focused training, and then the idea of the marathon started to creep into my head. I'm hearing other people are training for it, other people are qualifying, and I knew I was like getting way ahead of myself. But I always like a challenge and a crazy story, so started thinking about the marathon. And Coach Belichick is a longtime summer resident on Nantucket and in my neighborhood out on the east end of the island in Sconset. He's been great to the community out there. And I looked up with his foundation and realized that he had a marathon team. I thought I had heard about it years before, but again, running wasn't really on my radar.
Mhm.
So kind of pulled up the Bill Belichick Foundation page, saw they were taking applications, and I thought, you know what, this makes sense. Coach Belichick's got the connections to Nantucket. That's my new community. It just seemed really fitting. So I put in an application and was fortunate to be, selected out of the 8-10 people we had running last year.
Very cool. Oh, so you guys have a relatively small team, but that must mean it's kind of more like a family. Do you get
Yeah.
to know your fellow teammates?
So we social media, everyone was able to connect through Instagram. I being on the island, I didn't make it back to Boston for too many of the weekend runs, but
Uh-huh.
everyone kind of had a great, rapport, messaging and supporting each other while we're training and donating to each other's pages. And we had a couple of nice meetups along the way.
That's awesome.
Being on the island, I want to go slightly off track and then jump back onto Bill Belichick Foundation here. But don't you need to like reserve well in advance a ferry ride to get across with your car? Or being on the island, do you have like a reserved or a special spot if you ever have to get off the island and you need a car, you're just able to go?
The logistics can be tough for sure. So if the ferry, especially in the summer months, it books up. So if you don't have a vehicle on each side, there can be challenges for sure.
That's gotta
That's
be, yeah, that's gotta be a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. It's all about logistics.
God. I was even just thinking that being off season right now, if you need to go towards like the mainland, how difficult is that for you to book a ferry? Do they even
Well,
like have them running as often?
availability is not so much an issue, but actually the weather is. So this past weekend, I went out to the Vineyard, the
Mhm.
other island, and I participated in the 20 miler, their winter classic. So I ran that on Saturday with my girlfriend, and that's my second year running the 20 miler. Very well organized race, and fits in really nicely in February, if you're ramping up for Boston. So I was out there this past weekend, but the weather, the wind was just crazy. So all the ferries back to Nantucket have been canceled yesterday and today.
Oh no.
So I'm coming to you live from the Cape.
Oh, right. So you're stuck right now. You're on the mainland, which was
Yeah.
really funny to hear you call it the mainland, Erica.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Bill Belichick Foundation. We know how you found them and how you have that small connection because of the island. But tell us about the Bill Belichick Foundation. The money you're raising, what's it for? Where's it going to? What's the pitch you tell someone like, "Hey, help me out here. The Bill Belichick Foundation does X, Y, and Z."
Sure. Well, as we all know, Coach Belichick is a legend in the football community. He's been coaching for nearly 50 years continuously, and he's always had a strong presence in any community, any city that he's been in. So, the foundation really is a reflection of the Belichick family values, and the foundation looks to support coaching and mentorship and financial support for the athletic leaders of tomorrow, in a way that kind of emulates the Belichick passion and values in athletics.
That's very
That's
cool.
awesome.
So what kind of goal do you have for fundraising for this marathon?
So I am back at it and pushing for 10,000 this year.
How
And
close are you?
so had a little bit of a slow start because I didn't think that I was going to jump back in for marathon number 2 so quickly. Uh,
Understandable.
I did grind out through a gnarly tendon injury last year. Kind of got
Oh,
eaten up and spit out by the marathon. So I thought I'd take a little more time to regroup, but got another invitation from Coach Belichick to participate this year, and you can't say no to
Yeah,
that
you can't
opportunity.
say no to him.
No, can't say no. And so here we are. Got a late start. I think about 3,000 in. Launched a small, fundraising video on social media a couple weeks ago, and I've got a strong network and great supporters in my corner. So we'll keep chipping away and heading towards that $10,000 goal.
there you
What are
go.
some of the things you're doing to fundraise? Do you have events? Do you just do it all on social media? Do you do anything on the island with the running group you're a part of?
Yeah, well, thankfully the running group is definitely the strong support. We've got a great newsletter, so our organizers are always pushing, fundraising pages, whether it be mine or other people in the community. Mostly social media, pushing through Instagram and Facebook. My professional network on LinkedIn too. But I'm just showing up to races as well and meeting with people and networking. So like the Martha's Vineyard 20 miler, doing some posts about that, networking, just sharing my story that way. And then, some other races along the way, New Bedford Half Marathon coming up in March, and things like that.
Excellent. I think that social media is such a powerful tool these days for trying to get your message out there, for trying to do good with charity work. So where can people find you on just on social media, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, whatever you use?
Yeah, Instagram definitely a big spot. And thankfully, I hope it's spelled out on the screen, but just G Vaz-Vatikas on Instagram
I was close.
I mean, a little.
is where you can find me. My fundraising page is through Give and Gain, so you can find me there as well, and then on Facebook.
Wonderful. We'll have those in the show notes too for everyone who's listening. I feel like you're going to get it. What I really want to know is now that you're running your second Boston Marathon, you are doing something that I like to say. You're starting a tradition. Will you go for number 3 next year? And how far do you see this running craze going? Are you going to become? Are you going to go for the other big major marathons? Are you going to keep running locally? Are you going to stay in the group? What are your running goals beyond Boston? Do you have any?
Yeah, so I'm all in. That's for sure. I'd love to go back, back to Boston for three in a row. Definitely just focused on this one for now. Want to improve on last year's performance, but I'm trying to do any and all running I can. Every month is a jam-packed calendar with whatever 5K I can jump in on, 10K, half marathon. Even when I'm traveling now, I'm looking to see locally. I was out in California for Thanksgiving, and my girlfriend and I jumped in on the local turkey trot. Ended up being a 10K.
Yes.
The
Love
5K
it.
was sold out, so we did the 10K. But I'm just gonna keep pushing, and I'm really taking it all in. It's still all so new to me. I'm not even 24 months in.
I
When
thought
I
you were going to say 24 years old. I was like, oh my God, you're a baby.
No, just about to turn 36. And the 30 to 39 age bracket, it's so competitive.
It
There's such a
is.
difference between I'm in the middle there, so 30 to 39, and I'm trying to elevate my performance, and I'm just like the 30-year-olds just got just a little bit of that genetic advantage. So these are the things that I'm trying to learn and make improvements. But I'm definitely hooked.
I'm also thankful that the charity option is available for Boston, because I don't know about the men for that age bracket, but that's my age bracket as well, and I have not hit those qualifying times for Boston yet, so it's just very difficult. But I love that they give options, so you're doing good and you get to run your dream race. So
Yeah, it's great. It's great
yeah,
because there's a lot of people in this community who love to run, but they're not Speedy Gonzalez. They're not killing
maybe
those
someday, but
big Boston qualifying times and then even making the 5 minute and 49-second buffer, so that's this
yeah.
option for us. We're doing Erica's fundraised for the Boston Marathon. I'm fundraising currently for the New York City Marathon, as we just talked about last week. And it's hard. And so we're trying to do everything we can to help everyone pump their tires for their fundraising efforts, because it can be stressful. 10 grand is stressful. I only have to raise 3,500. Like you would be there if that was your goal, but you got your 37% in or whatever it is
Yeah,
right now, and you got, you know, I'm
60.
fairly confident if you just got that quickly, you're going to crush it again, man, and you're going to enjoy Boston, as I like to call major marathons. You do all that effort and training this winter. It's a victory lap, and enjoy it, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the platform to share the foundation, share my story.
It's our pleasure, and we're totally going to be looking out for you on the course. And as Eric has offered to, well, I'm willing to offer to anybody. If you need anything at mile 19 on the course, you let me know, and we'll have like a soda, some candy, some cheers, anything you want.
Yeah, what is something you like to drink or eat on the course for fuel?
Yeah, and again, I am learning everything, and it's all new to me. I'm definitely tinkering with fueling. My first year, I was not doing anything, which I learned the hard way. But now I'm trying to integrate. I don't have any crazy snacks or things. I'm like with a stinger waffle along the way and some goo gels, but trying to figure out what'll kind of keep me dialed in to notch that performance up. But
We talked to Rob earlier. I think we're all on board for Team Donuts. So maybe
yeah,
yeah.
honestly, I keep hearing donuts, and that's not a
I,
bad that's
I
You
not a
just gotta
bad
get a
idea.
thing of munchkins, because then it's not
yeah,
gonna
that's
totally
true.
sugar you out. You're not gonna have a belly full of something that you're gonna want to get rid of later.
Yeah,
Like a little donut hole should be fine for you. A
I
munchkin.
think that's great. Rob, we'll be at mile 19. I really hope you come and say hi to us, give us a high five or a shout out or something. You don't need to stop, but we'll be tracking you and everyone here who's a part of Boston Weeks. I also have a feeling as Rob's continuing I also have a feeling as George is continuing to progress here and he's working his way up. He's only been doing this for 2 years. The anniversary is coming up on the marathon day. I see an ultra marathon in Georgia's future. I don't know why. I just see it. Um, and there
I'm all
you
for
get to
that.
eat all the food, man. They have
yeah.
so much food and snacks. I just see this.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I was in DC last weekend for a conference, and I substituted my long run for a 100-mile bike ride. in
Yes.
the snow. So I'm toying with it a little bit. Toying with it.
Well, whenever you want to come over to the Team Ultra side, you're more than welcome. We love to see it.
Okay.
Well, that was awesome, George. Good luck with the rest of your training, with the rest of your
Stay
fundraising
healthy.
out there on the island. Like, that's brutal. I love that you got the group out there. They seem so awesome. And you guys get together on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. The weather out there, man, kudos to you and everyone else who's running and training outdoors right now, because I'm not. I'm soft.
I'm
You
also
guys are
not.
hard.
I have a
Yeah.
treadmill.
So that was awesome, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. George Vaz-Vatikas on the On the Runs podcast. Thanks so much, man.
All right. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support.